Hey there, awesome folks. This is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally. Want to make sure you guys know I am the author here of The Coolest Teenager to Consummate Professional. If you have anyone that you know, whether it be a niece, nephew, cousin, child that is graduating from high school or from college, you definitely want to have them have this resource so they will be able to be economically independent and they have more responsibility for themselves so they can move out of your house quicker. Of course, guys, we're going to jump into a topic here that is hot off the presses and is happening as we speak. We're going to be talking tonight about how will Uber and Lyft possibly be leaving Minneapolis, Minnesota, and how it will affect that particular city's economy. All right, guys, I'm going to give you guys a chance to jump on in here. Go ahead and enjoy the intro as we get ready. Hey there, awesome folks. Again, this is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally, guys. I want you guys to know that, this argument between who is right, who is wrong, what's going on, and why are Uber drivers considered or not considered employees, this argument has been going on since the inception of the app and how they are working with drivers. From my own personal experience, I can tell you the terms and conditions that they put in place is for you to be an independent driver. From my own personal experience, they have always, and I mean always, has presented the opportunity to drive for them as an independent contractor. So, Minneapolis, Minnesota, is going through a particular situation with them that is very interesting, similar to the fight that they had a few years ago in California, because I think in California they consider Uber drivers to be employees. But I do want to jump in here a little bit. Let's go back and get things going here, okay? All right. I do want to start off with the article here that is going into a little bit more detail about the situation. Uber has decided to, based on this is from Gadget Insiders. I'm sorry, no. This is from Microsoft Start. The author is there's a lot more news headlines that are talking about this, but I chose this particular writer, Cash. Pretty much it says, in a move that sent shockwaves through Twin Cities, rideshare behemoth Uber and Lyft have declared their intentions to pull out of Minnesota as of May 1st. This decision is rooted in a heated debate over driver compensation, marked a pivotal movement in an ongoing saga of rideshare operations and labor rights within the city. Uber and Lyft, the heart of controversy. At the core of its developments, the Minnesota City Council's bold step to ensure rideshare drivers earn a living wage. Bypassing an ordinance which overcame Mayor Jacob Frey's veto in a decision from 10 to 3. Oh, wow. That's an overwhelming choice. 10 to 3 majority. The council set minimum wage workers for drivers at $140 per mile $1.51 per minute, or a flat fee of $5 per ride in addition to tips. This legislation aimed to elevate driver earnings to be more in line with the city's minimum wage of $15.57 per hour, a gesture towards economic fairness in the gig economy. Uber and Lyft have been vocal in their opposition, describing the ordinance as deeply flawed and the threat to their operational sustainability. Of course, companies always going to be in touch and be focused on their bottom line. They cite a Minnesota study to argue that drivers can achieve minimum wage benchmarks at slightly lower rates, while also covering necessary expenses such as health insurance and retirement savings. The ripple effect on Minneapolis. The impending exit of Uber and Lyft from Minneapolis has ignited a firestorm of criticism from both city officials and driver advocates. Mayor Frey, although in favor of a fair minimum wage for drivers, has raised concerns about the fallout of such decision, including job losses and potential impact on the city's broader transportation ecosystem. The void left by these rideshare giants threatened to disrupt access to reliable transportation, especially for vulnerable populations, including individuals with disability and those without access to personal vehicles. In an intriguing turn of events, emerging rideshare platforms like Empower and Words are poised to step in to the breach. Oh, okay, so they have some newer players that want to come into the game in the event that Uber and Lyft leave. These companies offer a novel model that could redefine rideshare landscapes, allowing drivers to pay a monthly subscription fee and keep all their fares, promising a new era of driver autonomy and potentially reshaping the dynamics of gig economy in Minneapolis. A broader context, the standoff in Minneapolis reflects a larger national dialogue about the rights and compensation of gig workers. As drivers across the country call for fair wages and benefits, cities and states are grappling with how to regulate the rapidly evolving gig economy. The resistance from rideshare companies highlights the tension between innovation and the need for regulatory frameworks that ensure workers' welfare. Looking ahead, of course, guys, you can go ahead and find some of the clips and some of the videos. You can just look up "Will Uber and Lyft actually leave Minneapolis?" You can go ahead and go on YouTube to watch it because it is fair use. But I'm not taking any chances. As Uber and Lyft prepare to cease operations in Minneapolis, the city finds itself at a crossroads. The departure of these rideshare giants not only underscores a critical need to address labor issues within the gig economy, but also challenges the city to rethink its approach to transportation and worker rights. This situation calls for creative, collaborative solutions that balance the needs of drivers, companies, and the community, ensuring that the future of ride sharing in Minneapolis is equitable, sustainable, and inclusive. So now, guys, let's be very honest and let's be very clear. In the event, right, I want to make sure that you guys have a very broad and very I want you guys to have a balanced view on this whole situation. When it comes to rideshare, it started off, it was always supposed to be something that you do maybe for a year, 2 years tops until you figured out what else you were going to do. It was a gig. It was not, or nor was it ever supposed to be truly a career. And as a career coach, I'm sitting here telling you this because I'm not sitting up here saying that, nobody should use it as a career, but I used to drive Uber and Lyft myself. Let's be clear. However, I personally do not think in any way, shape, or form that you should limit yourself as a person that that you should limit yourself economically by a gig where, to be honest with you, you don't have the ultimate control. The ultimate control, unfortunately, in this situation, he who has the goal makes the rules, and unfortunately, Uber and Lyft has the gold, and they're making the rules. I don't want to be, unfair. I don't want to be too. I don't want to be harsh, but I'm going to be honest. He who has the gold make the rules, and yes, Minneapolis, Minnesota, their city council wants fair wages for their workers. At the same token, um, Uber and Lyft set this up as a gig, as a independent contractor situation, not as an employee employer situation. And now the city is doing their best to change the landscape of that. I do have a couple of questions that I want to pose to you guys. I know what I personally think, but and I'm going to share that with you towards the end, or when I stop for questions. Of course, go ahead and drop. If you like the discussion so far on this topic, go ahead and drop a like. Hit a one, drop a one in the comments, and also post some questions or concerns or comments in regards to this. Guys, the first question I want to pose to you: Will this ruling to pay Uber and Lyft drivers a higher base pay truly solve the underlying issues? Excuse me. What do you guys think the underlying issue is here? There are a lot of people that work in the gig economy that want higher pay. One, because they choose to make the gig work their main source of income, which is why they want a raise. Two, are they giving them time? Are they using this time? Are they skilling up? Do they have other skills that will pay more money? If that were the case, would they be so adamant? Because in the videos they're talking, there's representatives talking, representative for the drivers talking about the fact that they're so happy they won and they were jumping for joy, not realizing that decision could ultimately have them lose the gig that has been paying them a living wage thus far, or maybe it's not as living wage as they thought, as they're protesting to get more money. Keep in mind, he who has the goal makes the rules. So, is it that Uber and Lyft is being unfair by pulling out of the city altogether? Or is it that the drivers need to look at other alternatives? Because in this particular case, the company says, well, we don't want to do business here anymore because it's going to be more expensive for us to do it. And they don't want to mess with their bottom line, nor do they want to mess with their infrastructure financially to operate in that city. So, what can the drivers do? The drivers in this particular case can start looking at other options, career options, skilling up, picking up a skill that may take months to achieve versus years. That's just one of my solutions to this, because the underlying issue is not necessarily Uber and Lyft. The underlying issue is, when they do leave, what are these people going to do for work? Although in the article it mentions the fact that there are two new players in the ride sharing space that want to take over the market share that is left behind by Uber and Lyft, and all the drivers have to do is pay a monthly fee. I don't know what that looks like or how much that is, and then the drivers pretty much keep all their money. That's definitely something that's also an option. That would be great. Now, the second thing I want to put before you, the second question, or let's think about this from a logical standpoint. What's the underlying issue of the entire situation? We did talk about that. Who, let's be clear, who do you guys think is ultimately going to experience the most negative impact from this pay decision? Do you think it's Uber and Lyft? Absolutely not. Let's be clear. He who has to go and make the rules, well, they really, they're, Uber is not just in the US of A. Uber is all over the world. Uber is in Jamaica, just in case you guys don't understand. Uber and Lyft are not just US based companies. So, them thinking that, oh, you know, they're pulling, the drivers thinking, oh, we got what we wanted, we got the pay increase. But if your pay increase is going to an employer that is saying we don't want to operate here at all, it goes to zero, what then? I think the ultimate impact, there's going to be impact. It may not be as major as we might be thinking, but it is going to impact the drivers more so than Uber and Lyft will ever experience. Because, of course, they're the ones that are making the decisions to leave because they're saying the labor is too expensive, we're going elsewhere, or we're not operating in that city anymore. Ultimately, guys, I want you guys to be ready. What are some of the alternatives? Or if I was an Uber driver in that particular city, I'd be looking for ways to I'd be looking for a different main gig. Brush off that resume, brush up on those skills because it's very possible that they will be leaving. That it's very possible that they will be leaving Minneapolis. I would not be leaving it to chance if I were any of those drivers in Minneapolis. So, if I were you as a driver, if you're looking right now, if you know anybody that lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and are Uber and Lyft drivers, and they're looking for other alternatives, go ahead and I'd be more than happy to help them. Go to mentorshelley.com/consultations. I'm definitely here to help them with their resume or to help them get their career plan, a career strategy together, and to get one together quick. May 1st is around the corner. This is not something they can play with. So it is vital to have a plan B, C, D, E, and F because ultimately the decision is not in the ballpark of the driver. Yes, they can choose not to drive for Uber and Lyft anymore, but Uber and Lyft is going to make the choice that is best for them. As I always encourage everyone that watches this channel or anyone that you're responsible for your own personal economy. Uber is going to do what's best for them. You need to do what's best for you. So if you do not have a plan B, get one. I can definitely help you get one, but please make sure that you either go to mentorshelley.com/consultation so we at least get your career tools prepared and ready to work to market you. Okay, guys, listen. If you have questions, concerns, please make sure that you are putting them in the chat. If you know anybody that can benefit from this information, please make sure you forward them this live stream. I'm always here to definitely help you. And if you have anyone that's actually graduating from college or high school in the next coming months, you can go ahead and refer them, or better yet, you can have them go to mentorshelley.com/book. I do have a book there, From Clueless Teenager to Consummate Professional. 7 steps to getting the career and economic life you want. That book is available via ebook on Gumroad, and you can go to mentorshelley.com/book to start the process. Guys, I want to make sure you have what you need. And of course, this is Mentor Shelley wanting to make sure you become a better version of yourself professionally. You always want to have your options open to you to be able to make the moves that you're making, because just like Uber and Lyft can make those moves, you can make those moves as well. But you have to be prepared. All right, guys, take care. Go ahead. If you have questions, go ahead and drop